So here's the idea. This is obviously an old microwave that I've disassembled, and the idea is to make a forge out of it. So I've just obviously dismantled it. I spared to everybody the boredom of watching me take apart a microwave. I'm sure it's pretty interesting. But so now I've got just the shell, and now I'm going to try making a forge out of it. And I think this is going to be a very interesting project, and I hope that you're interested in it too. So the idea behind it is I had an old microwave that I had to get rid of. So, and I needed a forge. The two, they connect. So what my intentions are is to line this with refractories so that it can sustain the heat, because obviously a forge makes a lot of heat, and I don't know if this will work. This is all experimental. I think that it was just an interesting idea, and I'm following through with it. But if it works the way that I think it will, it's going to be quite interesting. This is the finished forge, and I've gotten it fired up, and so I've just okay. So I was just thinking of giving a rough tour of the portable forge that I've put together here, and as you can see, it's just smoldering away. I've got it. I got the blower turned off, but I just wanted to kind of give you a rough tour of how it works and what are the components. And as you can see right here, the put together. Just see here. Put together the legs, tubular legs that are just all bolted together so that it can be, collapsed and put into storage when I'm not using it, which is one of the design kind of concepts that I wanted to incorporate into it so that it didn't take up too much space. And I've just cut a hole in the side for the chimney, as you can see. But the interior is done with a refractory. I don't know if you can see. I don't want to get too close because it's pretty hot. But I've done that with a combination of fire brick and casted refractory. And I think it's worked out quite well. And then I've got just a few loose bricks at the front, just that I can put in and take out for cleaning it out afterwards, so that it kind of restricts the opening and prevents some of the sparks. Because I'll show you later, when you put the fresh charcoal in, it does tend to sparkle quite a bit. And as you can see, the heat is pretty intense, because you can see how the paint is peeling back from the original enamel finish. So the heat that these things produces is pretty intense, and it's kind of experimental. I've never made one out of a microwave before. So far, it's working out well, but you don't have to necessarily use a microwave. I was just using that as it was something that I had, and it was roughly about the right size. So if this does work out, you can try it out yourself. But otherwise, this gives you an idea of you can really make a forge out of pretty much anything. But I've just used I pulled it apart when I was building it, and I coated between the outer layer and the inner layer of the metal with thin set mortar, which is the same kind of mortar that you'd use for setting tiles. And I surrounded that with a mesh and built it up in layers, so it's got about an inch of that. Okay, so you can see as you can see, this sparks quite a bit, the charcoal. I'm just restoking the fire here. Now the charcoal that I've used is the lump charcoal as opposed to the briquettes, and there is a huge difference in the quality of the fire. So the first anybody that saw my post of anybody that saw my post of wow, that's hot, that's beautiful. Anybody that saw my post of the picture that I had on the first firing that was done with the charcoal briquettes. It was a much cooler fire. Now this is the lump charcoal, and I can tell you the heat intensity is about twice the amount. So it really is a completely different quality of fire. Very nice. So I have a few pieces of steel here already that I was testing out before I filmed, and just straightening them out. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this piece right here is almost ready to be forged. It's getting really nice and orange. It takes a bit of effort just to get the steel straightened out initially, so you want to spend a bit of time just if you're working from an old spring. You could spend a day in itself just straightening steel, of a bit of hammer and anvil work. See that kind of color is the kind of color that you want to see. And normally you would work it a little bit quicker, but because I'm dealing with a straightened spring, it's twice the length of what I need. So I'm going to try to cut this down. I may just end up cutting this with a grinder because this piece is a little bit ungainly, and normally you can cut it on the anvil with a, yeah, I'm not going to mess around with that. So I'm just going to leave that aside. So this is a hay fork that I'm working with right now. I'm just straightening out the end, and I think what I'll do is I'll flip it around. I'll put the tapered end in. Wow, that's intense. That's a hot fire. That's beautiful. This is a really good test run to see if this forge uh, works well or not. So there's one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but you also want a good quality wire brush, preferably with a wood handle, not with a plastic handle. It's the one that can be worked with around intense heat. But you'll want that. You want the wire brush to keep both your steel and your anvil clean. That helps to knock off the oxidized metal and the crust that gets deposited on the steel in the fire. see that's a nice hot fire. Very good. Okay, so that's the kind of color that you want to be looking for. You really want to be very careful when you're working with these kind of temperatures. There's no room for burns at those temperatures, so you want to really use your mind and be focused on what you're doing. If you're not comfortable around heat and fire, then this really isn't for you. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just straightening out the steel. And you have to, wow, okay, yeah. Like that is a hot fire. That's beautiful. So this forge is actually working out better than I imagined. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to achieve these kind of temperatures with this design, but it's actually okay. So this piece here is almost straight enough to start forging. The uh, the end, so the cutting end, we draw that out. And anybody that's watching this my channel for the first time, I'm not a I'm not a professional tool maker or a blacksmith. In fact, I haven't run a forge for the better part of nearly 20 years, probably 17 or 18 years. So I have to admit I'm a little bit out of practice, but it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you've got the basics, you know, you can pick that up whenever you need. That's the beauty of being able to make your own tools. The biggest thing is having the equipment and then just exploring it. The other thing I think I should mention too is that you definitely do not want to have anything other than a concrete or dirt floor. Um, you don't want to have any kind of a wood floor in the structure that if you are doing it in a structure. Definitely want to make sure, because you're going to have a lot of sparks falling down to the floor. So you want to have either a stone floor or concrete floor or dirt floor. Yeah, it's beautiful. Requires a lot of focus and attention. It's certainly not the cleanest of fires to work with. and it changes very rapidly. So you want to be very focused and only have one or two pieces of steel on the go at a time. Okay, so this piece here is ready for. Okay, so you're going to use the ball peen end of your hammer to concentrate the force to spread the steel. And it's just back and forth between the fire. So as you can see, the doesn't take a whole lot to spread the steel, draw it out. Now there's one thing that I learned the hard way is when you're spreading out, drawing out that steel, best only to get a few strikes of the hammer in before you put it back into the fire. If you try to push the limit as it's cooling off, once it gets down to the cherry red level, if you strike with the hammer, you'll crack the steel, and the crack never goes away. So you end up with these top to bottom um, longitudinal cracks that run down the center of the chisel. And even though it doesn't really compromise the integrity of the chisel as a tool, it does cause a bit of a vibration when you're using it, and it is noticeable. And I've got probably about half a dozen of them that have those cracks, and I've been using them like that for 20 years. So this one I'm still trying to get the chisel a little bit straightened out. So I've already done the draw. I don't know if you can see that the camera or not, but I've got a nice spread to it. And I can push that a little bit more, but generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, you can really only expect a spread on steel of twice the thickness to the shaft. Anything more than that, it is possible, but it takes a lot more time to work it. So it's a realistic goal to only expect about double the width to the shaft. And that's pretty much the basics. It's just all repetition and practice. Yeah, so that's getting very close now. It's still a little wonky. It's not bad. So I'm not sure if you can see the camera, the taper that I have there, but that's basically the blank. And the next stage after that will be to take it to the grinder, shape the end, and yeah, shape the cutting edge, rough because it's not tempered yet. And then use a second firing to temper your steel separate from the initial forging. I hope that this video up to this point has been helpful and informative. Um, and I'm going to continue on here for a little bit more. I hope that I've been able to introduce you to the idea of the concept of making your own tools and roughly what's involved. I got to keep an eye on everything here. It's getting very smoky in here. Yeah, we're good. Okay, sorry. You can't leave this unattended for 2 minutes. But so thanks for watching, and I hope that this has been informative. I'm going to do a separate video on tempering alone because that's the most important point of forging your tools. Shaping and drawing out steel is kind of the easy part. Tempering is a little bit more complicated and requires more attention to detail. And I got to think a bit more on how I'm going to go about filming it for you. But I hope you've enjoyed this uh, short video I had promised to make. And I hope that more people make their own tools. It's a wonderful tradition to keep alive, and you can truly make the finest chisels in the world. You can't buy the kind of chisels that you can make on a forge yourself. So with a bit of practice, you too can carve like a master. So yeah, thanks for watching.